Awesome. So for this morning, I'll go ahead and zoom in here on this PDF. That might be a little too much. Our presenters here for today is going to be Bruce Larson. He's going to be going over advanced BAQs and tips for using those. I'll be doing the conversion tips going from classic to kinetic using the conversion 180 tool. Joe Ubauer and Karen are going to be doing barcoding and using Bartender.
Excuse me, Calvin. I did mention that Joe did not, he wouldn't be able to be part of it. I worked with him, but.
Okay, so he's not able to attend today?
He's going to attend, but he doesn't have a microphone at home, so.
Got it. Okay, so he's going to be a silent presenter. So he'll be helping Karen through interpretive dance, right?
So I'll be doing things and talking about some of the things that Joe and I worked on together.
Awesome. Then we have Bill Golis, who's going to go over business process automation, how to log changes to fields, automate printing reports, and emailing documents directly as events occur in the system. Everybody's going to be on the Stump the Chump panel, and then we'll be adding Jose Gomez this afternoon and Hasso Carrick to help out with the Stump the Chump. So our presenters are going to stick around for the STC, but we have a few people adding in today. That'll be our last session in the afternoon. I need to modify a little extra time here for the opening business. I think I'm going to take a few more than 15 minutes. So kind of work with us here as we need to shift the morning appointment times. There are a few extra things that I wanted to bring up and make sure everybody was aware of. The virtual forum update, we got an increase to 1,000 users from 500. So I don't see us running into our limit. We did kind of merge with the EUG. We're now working in conjunction, trying to make sure that everybody becomes a part of the system. It's no longer regional groups like we existed before COVID. It was really just individual groups. Then there was the EUG forum that really didn't tie in with the user group meetings. We're going to try and tie that better and have this virtual forum available for everybody to use. We're still looking at the 3 virtual meetings a year, and then if we want, you can have local regional meetings. We have 2 in the Chicagoland area. We have had people fly into them. So if the topics are important, if you go out to the Iowa or you fly off to the Michigan group or the Pennsylvania, they all have important topics. And if it applies to you, by all means, I don't think anybody says, no, you can't come to my meeting. Nobody has ever done that. So I'm totally fine with people keeping an eye on what's going on at other user group meetings. It doesn't just have to be our virtual forum.
I think the other groups, you may just have to register for the meeting so that they can accommodate meeting space. Some of them are in smaller locations, so they may run short on space, but you can always contact that regional leader and find out what the policies are. Most everyone accepts anyone.
And you will find that information on the EUG portal, and there is a calendar there that shows what events are going on when. Clicking on the event, you can see what the topics and what they're going to be going over. As we do with every one of our meetings, our future meeting dates here, we have an in-person meeting coming up in April. Our April agenda is kind of already set. Let me see if I can pull that up on screen here. For our in-person meeting, we're going to be going over cloud computing, whether that's Epic or Azure or Rackspace. We'll be going over REST services. We have a visitor coming from the TMA, Technology Manufacturing Association, how to get people trained, how to find candidates, how to find technically savvy people to help out at the company. Avalara is going to come in and let us know what changes have occurred with taxation and sales law and how that applies to manufacturing and doing business over state lines. And then we'll have our Stump the Chump. So our topics are kind of already set for April 19th. We'll go ahead. I know we sent the call for topics. We'll kind of get the list out here probably when we send the minutes out. Fred, is that a good timing?
Usually I do it a month before, so that'd be 3/19-ish, 3/15-ish is when I send out the agenda.
Okay, that works. Our next virtual meeting is going to be on June 15th. We have a handful of topics already being submitted for that one. We have another in-person meeting here in Chicagoland September 13th, and then November 16th will be our last virtual for the year. That should be right after Epicor rolls out its final updates for 2023 as well. Surveys and presentations. At the end of the meeting, Fred will send out a little survey that'll pop up, I believe, when you exit the meeting, that's going to ask you to fill out a survey and answer some questions about the presentations, the content, the topics. But what I find more important is, what would you like to see at future meetings? What topics would you like to have covered? This is where we get the requests from the user community and put that into our hunt for presenters. So we take from whatever surveys are filled out, and that's who we go after to do presentations in future meetings. Next one, the EUG is doing their Rug Cup again. This is the regional user group. Since not everybody was in the location of a regional user group, they also opened it so that you can just be a member of the EUG and compete as well. This is a contest. We will hold ours here in Chicago on the April 19th meeting, but there is a contest that goes on at Insights where you end up getting to present. And I'll go ahead and move over to that page here. What is the Rug Cup? It's a way for users to show off what they've done, what they've built, how they use the system to accomplish a business need. It doesn't necessarily have to be a customization. It could be something simple as, how do I use credit cards for purchasing? And how do I handle that business need in the software? What's the best way that people are doing that? Submitting something doesn't have to be, oh, I wrote this grand customization, or I wrote this great BAQ. The topics can come from all over the software. There will be two major categories, an end user one, which is Epicor users, and then there will also be a consultant one of third-party companies that turn around, support, and help out Epicor. So the group that's going to be the end user, you have to currently work at the company you're representing. The work had to have been completed in-house by the employees. You didn't hire someone to write your paper for you. And you need to be a member of the EUG. The submission has to be for Epicor version 10 or later. So anybody running version 6, that might be a little difficult submitting your topic. They're only looking for people on version 10 or newer, which is pretty much the last 8 years. If it's the consulting category that you're submitting for, I have the rules here. I'll go ahead and include a copy of the agenda with all these notes so everybody has them after the meeting. And you must agree to have the presentation recorded when you give it at Insights. They're going to use this as, hey, this is what customers have done. It's going to be customer spotlight. Permission granted, hey, that you can do this and you're a part of the organization that you're presenting it. Please do not show confidential material. If you're a DoD contractor, don't put the schematics of a plane up on the presentation board. Do pay attention that this information is going to the entire Epicor community. We wouldn't want anybody putting confidential info out. The presentation should be in English. I think it's a must right now that it's in English, but I have a feeling that may be changing as Epicor keeps growing outside the US. If your employment status should change, just let the EUG know that up front, that you move from one company to the other or something if you're still in the community. Things that your presentation should include: what was your return on investments? What's your cost of doing business? These are key things. How did it impact your company? the bottom dollar, how did the users adopt to it? Did they take on or did they resist change? And the execution of the intended outcome. Did the scope of your solution change while you were building it? And then finally, what was your total cost to complete this project? Was it something you built for free, or hey, I had to hire a consultant and pay $1,000 for it, but it really handled our business need? These are things to put into your presentation so that everybody else can look at it. Hey, this is how much maybe we have to pay for this, or this is what our return on that investment is going to be if we go down that rabbit hole. The Rug Cup turns around and has a whole lot of rewards, but we don't have that listed here. But it's generally Visa gift cards, cash awards, plaques. Over the years, it's been awards that are really nice that people definitely want to compete for. Consider if you have built something for your company, you're not just using Epicor out of the box, or you're even using Epicor out of the box, but you're using it in a unique way to handle a business need, consider sharing that within the community. This would then be competed. The people that win at the regional user group meetings would then compete in Las Vegas. The person that submits the direct to the EUG, they're not in or centrally located to a local regional group, they would end up presenting in Las Vegas. The Vegas persons, I want to say they picked the top 3 or top 4. Is Jennifer on today? Or Michelle?
No, the Texas user group is going on right now.
Okay. Was Michelle in there by chance?
Nope. And we're running tight into Bruce's thing, so if you can round up, Kelvin. Yep.
Not a worry. I know we were going to go over here. So consider competing for the Rug Cup. If you're here in the Chicagoland area, we'll be getting together on April 19th for that. Any submissions? We'll go ahead and put that and vote at our local user group meeting as to who we like and who we want to represent us. Putting together the Stump the Chump session is becoming more and more of a challenge. We'll get either a whole lot of requests or we'll get 5 requests. But there are an awful lot of requests that get posted to the EUG and the EpiUsers that go unanswered. And we're wondering if people wanted us to bring this in or let people take that submission. So we're just going to do an open poll here for the people on the meeting. If you're looking to have the question submitted, is it only for members attending the meeting, or can we discuss other people's topics that were submitted? Number 2 is allow people to raise their hand during the topic, regarding the topic during the session, so we can pull a list of unanswered and then go over, does this qualify for the STC or not? And then the final one is, or do we stick with early submissions before and during the meeting like we have been doing? Just wanted to make sure. I know this is also a benefit for the people on the panel, because sometimes we don't get to advance think about, hey, what's the answer, how to handle the solution, versus the ones that submit early, we can go in if there's time and test, make sure that the suggestion works for you. Do you have that poll open, Fred? It looks like it's open, but awesome.
It's already been open for a minute. Got about 37%, 38% of people have voted. So if you want to get it in real quick over the next, let's say, 15 seconds. Got about half the people voting now. Yay! So we'll give it just a little bit more so we can keep on going with the meeting here.
Awesome. Well, they go ahead and finish. I'll just do the last topic for the new business, which was Classic is still looking to be sunset somewhere towards the end of 2024. So after that, hopefully we will be 100% kinetic.
That means the kinetic UI, Classic
Correct.
UI be sunset.
The Classic UI would still be there. It's just they're not going to be supporting it.
All right, I'm going to close the poll here because it's been 2 minutes. Looks like we got about 63% voted.
It's neck and neck. It looks like our mayor race.
Looks like a few more people wanted to allow the raise for hand in the topics, and then stick with early submission. And then coming in the rear was 13% for members attending the meeting.
Okay, we'll go ahead and focus on the last two. We'll call the questions that don't get answered on the two forums, bring those up as an idea and allow people to say yes or no. And we'll add those into the Stump the Chump session that we hold at the end of the meeting. We'll take a look if it's possible to email those out as a survey poll before the meeting so that we can kind of have that information put together.